What if I told you that the tingling in your feet at night, the numbness in your hands, or that sudden burning sensation you feel when you lie down isn't just part of getting older, but a warning sign that your nerves are being quietly damaged while you sleep? Most seniors I see were never told this. They were told it's age, genetics, something to live with, and that misunderstanding costs people their balance, their confidence, and eventually their independence. I'm a neurologist, and for decades I've worked with older adults across the United States who were doing everything they believed was right, eating reasonably, taking their medications, staying careful. Yet their nerve symptoms kept getting worse. What they didn't realize is that several everyday poisons hidden inside common habits were attacking their nerves day after day. This isn't about managing pain after it's too late. It's about recognizing the real threats early, before numbness turns into falls, and before burning turns into sleepless nights filled with fear. If you're over 60 and you value your mobility, your sleep, and your independence, what you're about to learn could change the next 5 years of your health more than you expect. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Worst, poison number 1, chronic blood sugar toxicity, the silent nerve killer most seniors miss. It often starts with a quiet thought at the kitchen table. I didn't eat anything that bad, so why do my feet feel like they're buzzing again? I've heard that sentence more times than I can count. A retired teacher in Ohio said it to me after her morning toast and orange juice. A Vietnam veteran in Arizona said it after his light breakfast cereal. None of them had diabetes. All of them were slowly losing nerve function. Here's the hard truth. Many seniors in the U.S. are never told. Your nerves don't care whether your doctor labeled you diabetic. They care about exposure. Repeated blood sugar spikes day after day, year after year, act like a low-grade poison to nerve tissue. Not dramatic, not immediate, but relentless. Nerves are living tissue that depend on steady oxygen, clean blood flow, and stable chemistry. When blood sugar rises sharply, sugar molecules bind to proteins in nerves and in the tiny vessels that feed them. This sets off inflammation and oxidative stress, and it damages the nerve's protective insulation. The longest nerves, those running to your feet and hands, take the hardest hit first. That's why symptoms often begin as nighttime tingling, numb toes, or burning soles that wake you from sleep. What makes this poison especially dangerous for older Americans is how normal the sources look. Breakfast juice, sweetened coffee drinks, toast, bagels, cereal, pancakes, heart-healthy snacks eaten between meals. None of these feel reckless. Many were recommended for decades, but each one can create a sharp glucose surge that bathes nerve tissue in sugar before the body can recover. Over time, the damage stacks up quietly. Another trap is being told you're borderline or just a little high. Prediabetes is often treated as a waiting room, not a danger zone. In reality, nerve injury frequently begins right there. I've seen seniors with perfect cholesterol and no diabetes diagnosis who still develop neuropathy because their blood sugar spiked multiple times every day, especially in the morning and late evening. This is why neuropathy feels like it came out of nowhere. It didn't. It was building during years when nothing hurt enough to demand attention. By the time pain, numbness, or balance trouble appears, nerves have already crossed a stress threshold. The most important thing to understand is this: nerves don't need perfect numbers to survive. They need consistency, fewer spikes, longer recovery windows, a chance to breathe. When blood sugar stops swinging wildly, nerve irritation often quiets. Progression can slow. Sometimes it halts. And that raises a question every senior deserves a clear answer to. If blood sugar toxicity is the poison, what everyday habit is quietly causing the biggest spikes? And why does it catch so many careful, health conscious older adults completely off guard? If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. Worst poison number 2: liquid sugar and refined carbs. The easy foods quietly wrecking your nerves. Picture this familiar moment. It's early morning, the house is quiet, and you reach for something gentle: orange juice because it's natural, a smoothie because it's healthy, or a bowl of cereal because it's easy on digestion. Many seniors tell me this feels like the responsible choice, but inside your body, something very different is happening. Liquid sugar is one of the fastest ways to overwhelm aging nerves. Unlike solid food, drinks don't require much digestion. Juice, smoothies, sweetened coffee, flavored yogurt drinks, these rush straight into the bloodstream. There's no fiber barrier, no slowdown. Blood sugar shoots up within minutes, and your nerves take the hit before your body can react. For older adults, this matters more than most people realize. As we age, insulin response becomes less efficient. Muscles absorb sugar more slowly. That means glucose stays in circulation longer, bathing delicate nerve tissue in a toxic environment. Repeated exposure leads to inflammation, damage to tiny blood vessels, and breakdown of the nerve's protective covering. The result? Burning feet at night, numb toes during the day, and a growing sense that balance isn't what it used to be. Refined carbohydrates create a similar problem, especially when eaten alone. White bread, bagels, crackers, rice, pasta, pancakes, these don't taste sweet, but they behave like sugar once digested. Seniors are often advised to eat easy-to-digest foods, yet easy digestion often means rapid glucose release. When these foods are eaten without protein or healthy fat, blood sugar rises sharply and nerve repair mechanisms shut down temporarily. If this happens, once in a while, the body recovers. If it happens daily, nerves never get a break. One of the most common patterns I see in American seniors is light eating that's actually nerve hostile. Toast for breakfast, juice mid-morning, crackers in the afternoon, cereal or soup for dinner. None of it feels excessive, but the constant sugar exposure keeps nerves irritated around the clock. There's no calm window where healing can occur. Another overlooked issue is timing. Liquid sugar first thing in the morning or late at night is especially harmful. In the morning, the body is more insulin resistant. At night, nerves are already vulnerable due to reduced circulation. That's why so many people notice burning or tingling when they lie down. It's not random. It's chemistry catching up. This is not about blame. Many of these habits were encouraged for decades. The problem is that nerve tissue pays the price quietly, without warning, until symptoms become impossible to ignore. Here's the reassuring part: nerves respond quickly when the assault stops. Removing liquid sugar and changing how refined carbs are eaten often reduces nighttime burning and improves steadiness within weeks. Not because nerves magically heal overnight, but because the poison supply has been cut. And that leads to a deeply uncomfortable question most seniors are never asked. What if the damage isn't coming only from food at all, but from something you take every single day believing it protects your health? Worst poison number 3, hidden nutrient depletion from long-term medications, when protection turns against your nerves. I take my meds exactly as prescribed, so why are my feet still going numb? That question comes up in my exam room more often than you'd think, usually from someone who has done everything right. Pill organizer filled, refills on time, doctor's orders followed to the letter. And yet, the nerves keep failing. Here's what many older Americans are never warned about. Some commonly prescribed medications can quietly drain the very nutrients your nerves need to survive. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, year after year, until symptoms appear and everyone blames age. Vitamin B12 is the most critical example. Your nerves are wrapped in a protective coating that allows signals to travel smoothly and accurately. B12 helps maintain that coating. When levels fall, nerves become exposed and fragile. Signals misfire. Sensation fades. Balance becomes uncertain. Pain can show up without warning. The problem is that many seniors don't absorb B12 well to begin with. Stomach acid naturally declines with age, and B12 absorption depends on it. Add in long-term use of acid-blocking medications for heartburn or reflux, something millions of Americans over 60 take daily, and absorption can drop even further. Certain diabetes medications and cholesterol drugs can contribute as well. None of this happens fast enough to raise alarms. What makes this especially dangerous is how it's misinterpreted. Numbness creeps in. Tingling becomes constant. Walking feels less stable. The conclusion is almost automatic. This is just getting older. In reality, nerves are starving for support they're no longer receiving. I remember a retired engineer from Pennsylvania who had worsening numbness for years. Imaging was normal. Circulation looked okay. He was told nothing could be done. When we finally checked his B12, it was severely low. The cause wasn't his diet, it was a medication he trusted for over a decade. Correcting the deficiency didn't reverse everything, but the decline stopped, and for him, that meant staying independent. This is an important distinction for seniors to understand. Neuropathy is rarely caused by a single factor. It's usually a pileup: blood sugar stress, poor circulation, inflammation, and nutrient depletion working together. Medication-related deficiencies don't start the fire, but they remove the fire extinguisher. There's also a caution here. Guessing with supplements can backfire. Some vitamins, taken in excess or without guidance, can worsen nerve problems. Testing matters, conversations matter, awareness matters. And that raises the next uncomfortable truth. Even when nutrients are adequate, something in the modern American diet keeps nerves inflamed and hypersensitive, quietly turning mild damage into relentless pain. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. Worst poison number 4. Chronic inflammation. The constant background fire. Wearing down your nerves. It often shows up as a small realization, usually while standing in the grocery aisle, I don't eat junk food, so why do my nerves still hurt? That confusion is completely understandable. Many older Americans believe inflammation only comes from obvious indulgence, fast food, desserts, or overeating. But the kind of inflammation that damages nerves rarely announces itself that clearly. Chronic inflammation works quietly, like a low burning fire that never goes out. You don't feel it the way you feel a fever. You feel it as sensitivity, burning, aching, electric pain, or worsening numbness that seems out of proportion to what you're doing. And for aging nerves, that constant inflammatory signal is exhausting. One of the biggest contributors is highly processed food, which has become deeply woven into American daily life, especially for seniors. Frozen meals, packaged soups, deli meats, boxed snacks, and ready to eat foods are convenient, affordable, and familiar. The problem isn't just calories, it's what these foods contain: refined seed oils, hidden sugars, preservatives, and additives that push the immune system into a persistent alert state. When inflammation is high, nerves become hypersensitive, signals that should feel mild or amplified. A gentle touch feels uncomfortable. Normal pressure turns painful. Tingling escalates into burning. This is why many seniors say, "It didn't used to hurt like this," even though the nerve damage itself may not have dramatically changed. Inflammation turns the volume knob up. Another overlooked source is chronic low grade stress, financial worry, isolation, poor sleep, or caregiving strain. Stress hormones directly interact with inflammatory pathways. Over time, this keeps nerves in a constant state of irritation. For someone already dealing with blood sugar swings or nutrient deficiencies, inflammation acts like a force multiplier. What makes this poison especially dangerous is that it blurs cause and effect. Seniors often assume worsening pain means nerves are dying faster. In reality, inflammation is often what's accelerating symptoms, not sudden nerve collapse. That distinction matters because inflammation is one of the most modifiable factors. When inflammatory load drops, many people notice fewer nighttime flares, calmer sensations, and improved sleep, even before nerve structure changes. Foods like fatty fish, olive oil, vegetables, berries, and spices such as turmeric help cool inflammatory pathways. Just as important is removing what fuels the fire: less packaged food, fewer refined oils, fewer hidden sugars masquerading as convenience. This isn't about perfection. It's about reducing the constant noise surrounding nerve tissue so signals can travel more cleanly. Quiet nerves function better, even when damage already exists. But here's where many people get stuck. They clean up their diet, they manage stress better, they take supplements correctly, and yet symptoms still progress. Which brings us to the final and often underestimated factor, because even a well fed, low inflammation nerve cannot survive long without one essential thing. What if the biggest threat to your nerve health isn't what you eat at all, but how little you move each day without realizing it? Worst poison number 5: prolonged inactivity. When stillness slowly steals your nerve function. It usually sounds reasonable, even responsible. I don't want to overdo it anymore. After retirement, after a fall scare, after a few aches that linger longer than they used to, many seniors choose caution. More sitting, more resting, fewer steps. And on the surface, that feels safe. But for your nerves, prolonged stillness can be quietly destructive. Nerve tissue depends on movement more than most people realize. Not exercise in the gym sense, not sweating or pushing limits, but regular, gentle motion that keeps blood flowing. When movement drops off, circulation slows. Less oxygen reaches the long nerves in the legs and feet. Waste products linger longer. Blood sugar stays elevated after meals. Inflammation settles in and doesn't clear. Over time, nerves begin to weaken in an environment that no longer supports them. This is why so many older Americans notice a pattern they can't explain. Symptoms are worse at night, worse after long periods of sitting, worse after days spent mostly indoors. It's not coincidence. When the body stays still too long, nerve signaling becomes unstable. Tingling increases. Burning intensifies. Balance feels uncertain when standing up, especially after being seated. Another overlooked danger of inactivity is muscle loss. As muscle mass declines with age, the body's ability to absorb glucose drops sharply. Sugar remains in the bloodstream longer, feeding the very toxicity that damages nerves. Movement isn't just about circulation, it's one of the body's primary tools for stabilizing blood sugar without medication. When movement disappears, nerves pay the price twice. Fear plays a major role here. Many seniors avoid walking because of numb feet or balance issues. Ironically, avoiding movement accelerates the very problems they're trying to prevent. The goal isn't distance or speed, it's frequency. Short walks, gentle movement after meals, standing up regularly throughout the day. These small actions send a powerful signal to nerve tissue. Blood is coming, oxygen is coming, support is still here. I often tell patients this: nerves don't need intensity, they need consistency. 10 minutes of walking after a meal can lower blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and improve blood flow to nerve endings. Over weeks, not days, many people notice steadier footing and less nighttime discomfort. Not because nerves magically healed, but because the environment stopped working against them. Inactivity feels harmless because it doesn't hurt right away. There's no immediate penalty. But over months and years, stillness compounds every other poison: blood sugar instability, inflammation, nutrient stress, and quietly accelerates nerve decline. The good news is that movement is one of the few tools that works at any age. Even in your 70s or 80s, circulation can improve, signals can sharpen, confidence can return step by step. And when you put all of this together, the sugar spikes, the hidden deficiencies, the inflammation, the stillness, a much bigger picture comes into focus. So the real question now becomes this: if nerve damage is rarely caused by one mistake, but by years of small, fixable habits, what happens to your health over the next 1, 3, or 5 years if you start changing them today? Protecting your nerves is really about protecting your future. As we age, the body doesn't fail all at once. It whispers first, a little tingling at night, a foot that feels oddly warm under the sheets, a moment of imbalance when you get up in the dark to use the bathroom. These signs are easy to dismiss, especially in a culture that tells older adults that's just part of getting older. But the truth is more delicate and more hopeful than that. The aging body is resilient, but it is also fragile in very specific ways. Nerves, in particular, do not tolerate abuse well. They respond slowly, they heal reluctantly, and once damage passes a certain point, they don't give second chances. That's why nighttime symptoms matter so much. when circulation slows during sleep, when blood sugar fluctuations and inflammation speak the loudest, nerves reveal the stress they've been under for years. What you feel in the quiet hours is often the honest report your body gives when distractions fade. The core lesson running through everything you've read is this: neuropathy is rarely random. It's usually the result of small, repeated stresses, blood sugar swings, hidden deficiencies, inflammatory foods, long periods of stillness that accumulate quietly. None of them seem dramatic on their own. Together, they shape your future. And that future is not fixed. What you do in the next few months matters more than what happened over the last few decades. If you understand the risks correctly, adjust habits thoughtfully, and take a proactive role in protecting your nerves, the next 1 to 5 years can look very different. Fewer nights interrupted by burning pain, better balance, more confidence moving through your home, less fear of falls, more independence. This is not about chasing perfection or reversing time. It's about awareness, timing, and respect for how the aging body truly works. When you stop the quiet poisons early enough, you give your nerves the one thing they need most now: a stable environment to survive. Your body is talking. Listening today may be what allows you to walk more securely, sleep more peacefully, and live more fully in the years ahead. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.